And, well, there's also booth rental fees that are being done for the person to be in there, and then a sales tax collected, and then whatever that whatever percentage is that is the fee that that is being used to make that transaction of being there, 10-20%, whatever it may be, and then that person that brought the product in gets that money for it. I would contend that that is commerce and that that is business. Now, if someone disagrees with us on that, they can. Everybody has the right to be able to do what they want to do because it's a free country. And if they disagree with it, they have the right to be able to come to council and say, I really disagree with the ordinance, I don't think it's right. And the council has, just as you all are doing tonight, if you don't agree with it, and the council tonight we will be going into closed session at some point tonight because we have an offer that was made to the city, which the city has not even had a chance to even address yet. I know it came out in a letter which I got that showed that we had refused it. They haven't had a chance to even hear about it yet. So that part is not correct. So if the person disagrees with us, and they feel very passionate and strongly against it, they have the right to be able to question the legality of this ordinance, which has been done. There's in here there's like 8 different things that has been brought up. 6 I think have been dropped. 2 are still there. So the individual has the right to be able to do this. They have that right to question whether or not this is legal, whether or not we have done a good job in how we've crafted this, the constitutionality of the ordinance itself can all be brought into question. As for what we do is, or what at least what I have to do is be able to enforce it. If it is not, if this goes to court, then we may find that we were incorrect in what we did. In that case, we'll have to change it. I don't think it's going to happen because that's going to case precedent. When you know anything about law, when a judge makes a decision on a case, it creates precedent. If this goes forward and we lose in that regard, then every city in the Commonwealth, their ordinances regarding business license fees will be put into question. So I don't think it's going to happen. But does he have the right? Now, a couple of things that you've addressed, most of the things that you have, and I want to be able to say this as in such a way that it doesn't come across negatively. The role of city government, which took me a little while to figure out, is to be able to enforce ordinances. Are we responsible for other things that we are concerned about? We can be concerned about them, but we are not necessarily responsible for those. Decreased property values and the revenues generated from that. Is it important to me personally? Absolutely. For businesses to be successful in Hazel? Absolutely. Do I care about those? Yes. Is it my role to make people successful or not successful? No. Do I want the very best? Do I want to have a clean town? Do I want to have more foot traffic on the sidewalks that will go into businesses? Yes. Has the council, I think, tried to help on that? I think so. I mean, we try to be able to create the right kind of business environment. It wasn't, I don't know, a year or 2 ago that one of the members of the business community came and asked for money, asked for $200, and the council said, why not just make it $500? Well, I thought, well, it's pretty cool. The only problem I had with that, Don, was that they didn't look at the budget at the time and to see how much money we actually had to distribute at that point in time. But yes, we did that because we thought it was going to be good for business. It was regarding some kind of cruise-in or something like that, and it was supposed to be good for business. we're concerned about those things. Battling recession, when my personal job, the one that really pays me money, I've had a couple of businesses go out because of recession. It's tough. Last 3 years have been tough. And it may get tougher. I don't know. But we try to do and try to work with businesses to try to soften things as best we can. I do like that $100 and 68 being spent. I think that's great. Money being kept in the community. Hazel, well known for antiques. I agree with that. I'm not sure about the date that you had in there on that, because I would say if I was coming up with that, I would say probably the Sunny Parkville time is when it probably.
I pulled that straight off of the government website, so that's.
And trust me, government's websites are about like everything else. They may not get everything just right. But
Hazel's website.
Hazel's
website.
Yeah, I don't even have anything to do with that. That's monitored by someone else, not me. Maybe I should be looking at it more. But yeah, if it were me coming up with that information, I would say it was probably the Sunny Parkville time is when. And in fact, Miss Martha,
I said late 70s, early 80s.
Late 70s, and there's a good story about that. And if we had time, we'd probably address that because I think it's pretty important what he did. But your point on being known for antiques is good. You're asking the council to amend our ordinance and to end the litigation that's going on, and be able to accept a master business license from the plaintiff in this case.
All mall.
I'm sorry, what?
All mall is what we're asking. Not the plaintiff. Not the plaintiff specifically, but make that read all mall owners.
All mall.
There's more than one mall in this town. There's one extra that's not open now, but we'd like to think maybe it'll reopen. Right. But there's another mall.
He's speaking of the plaintiff in the lawsuit. In the lawsuit.
But that's not what we're asking. You said we're asking that it read all mall owners.
Any mall.
Yeah, to amend it for everybody.
For all. Right. Well, right now there are currently 3 businesses, as I understand it, that fall under the renting of booth space, bartering of booth space, whatever terminology is utilized. There's approximately 3 businesses that fall in that category. Everybody else pretty much falls under, yes, I do business with Hazel, and I come to the city clerk and I get my business license form, I fill it out, and pay my $25, and they get their they have their business license, the post or whatever. And that's how it takes place. But it's my understanding that there's 3 right now that are in place. But I guess I pretty much have to deal with this part because this is the lawsuit. And the plaintiff has alleged that it's unconstitutional, the way it is. So, so the council has heard that you all, as business owners, feel very strongly about it for the 5 items that Angela mentioned that are there. But I do want you to understand that they have the right to be able to change it if they want to. They can change the business license ordinance to go to a master business license, which would accompany whatever number of people and whatever dollar amount that we choose to come up with that would handle that. Now, I would be remiss if I did not say that that this has not been an issue with anyone turning over names of who did business in Hazel until the lawsuit. It's never been an issue. Now, it may be argued that it has never been properly enforced. But again, that's my role, to enforce it. If it is not, the question that I think is begged to be asked is, are there damages to his business because of a business license ordinance for $25 that requires the people that are inside there to be able to pay that $25 for your business license. Is the business damaged?
But isn't that relitigating it, the lawsuit? Aren't we getting into the lawsuit when we do that? I mean, aren't you explaining the city's
Position?
where, yes, where
No.
we're,
No,
okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
At least I don't think so, because I believe right now, if can you tell me why that the people then, if we say that what you said is true, then is there a good reason why they should not turn over their names, just like when Doug came here less than a year ago, or about a year ago? About a year ago. Come in for the first time, came in, signed up, did it. I didn't hear any complaint from him about it. I didn't think it was an issue. Is there? Explain to the council what the issue is on that.
That's what,
Well,
we
how
need to
many?
do that.
Well,
that's what we're leaving out. You did a very good job of explaining the history of all this, but you're leaving out what the issue is. The issue is not a $25 license fee. Doesn't mean a thing. The issue is turning over the list of names. And you can't sugarcoat that and slide it through under the table. He does not want to turn over the names. Now, we
Why
could
does he
debate,
not want to
we
turn
could
over the
debate
names?
that. Well,
Can
he's got his
can I
reasons.
say something
Okay,
real
hang on a
quick?
second, hang on a
Can I
second.
say this is
The
not
one
about
thing-
names?
This
or-
isn't, yeah.
The one thing we
Can I-
don't want to do is go get out of hand and stuff.
If I could say something really quick about McKenzie Mall, okay? Yesterday I called McKenzie Mall. Doug and Mr. Larry Ward made the statement, I believe Mr. Ward said that the only mall he ever paid a business license in was in Peddlers, I believe, in Murray, okay? And he'd been in several. Doug said he'd never done one. So I called,
And been in a
McKenzie
dozen.
has a big ad in their in the Murray paper for booth rentals. I called the number. Does McKenzie require business license? No, they do not. Not for their mall people, not for their vendors. I called Paducah. I called the Shed. Do they require business license for their vendors? No, they do not. So, I mean, we will lose people. I mean, that could be a very good reason why he would not want to. I mean, I don't think he's ever said that, but that would be a deterrent. Why not go, if you're in Paris and you've got stuff, why not go to McKenzie instead of go to Hazel?
Mhm. Should be an incentive to keep people
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
All right, but here's the thing. McKenzie doesn't, Murray does. I can tell you several places that do. I can tell you several places that don't. It happens to be that in Hazel, they do. It's just simple as that. Now, but when the business license comes up, and the $25 I realize is meaningless, but they have to fill this form out. She has to keep records of all this stuff, for the names and addresses, for the individual that does it, that comes in to do it. I'm not going to say why someone does want to have their names out or does not want to have their names out. The city of Hazel, and for me as enforcing things, has no responsibility whatsoever in doing anything other than just getting the law that we have enforced, which is to pay a $25 for your business license by filling out a form that has your name and address. That's it. I, for the life of me, have difficult. I'll promise I'm going to do so I finish this.
Good, my arm's tired.
I have trouble and had difficulty for a long time understanding this whole lawsuit. I believe it is frivolous. I believe it is a waste of time. I don't understand, because people say, why don't you settle it? Well, we could. Turn over names and addresses. So well, how come you have to turn over names and addresses? Because in other places where they do require the business license, understand how they handle it. And your deputy was very, very clear with me about some things that happened. He worked on the Murray Police Force with there in Murray. There, they require you to have your business license before you set up shop in there. If I want to go to Angelique's and I want to rent booth space and I want to sell something there, if she was in Murray like the rest of them do, she would say, Carrie, go up there to City Hall and get your business license and come back and we'll talk turkey and we'll get all of our stuff. You can set up where you want to do. That it can happen that way. It doesn't happen that way, and that's where the issue actually started, because all we had to do was turn over these things. It didn't happen. And so that's where in 2007 That's where clarity took place.